This week's episode of The Grid is sponsored by MPix. Shoot today, upload tonight, we ship tomorrow. Manfrotto, imagine more. On One software that gets you back to shooting. Adorama, more than a camera store. Tiffin, helping create the world's greatest images. Peach Pit Press, publishers of technology books, ebooks, and videos for creative people. Epson, exceed your vision. Expo Imaging, Rogue Flash Benders for speedlight enthusiasts. Nik Software, photography first. And B&H Photo, the professional source.
You are not right, my friend. You are not right.
Woo! Welcome back to The Grid, everybody. My name is Matt Koliskowski, and I am joined this week by RC Concepcion.
Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? What's up, man?
Oh, just laughing at the silly stuff that we say right before the show's
Very
about
odd
to go
things that you say, Mr. Matt.
You guys don't even want to know. About 4 seconds before we went live, it was good stuff. Anyway, yeah, I'm doing good, man. It's been, I think I was out last week.
Yeah.
Was I out last week?
Well, you know what? Everybody seems to be coming in. There's a lot of things. What a lot of people don't know is August, September, October is actually a very busy time. There's a lot of different tours. Like right now, Scott's actually on tour. He's probably
teaching right
on
now.
stage.
Oh, yeah, he's in Denver.
Right now,
He's
in
on
Denver,
stage right now.
doing something. So if you happen to be taking a break, Scott, what's up? Hope Denver's going good.
What time is it? It's 4 o'clock here, so it's 1 o'clock there. So actually,
He's probably at lunch.
is he at lunch break? He's on lunch break.
He could be watching
Why
this
isn't
during
he?
his lunch break.
He should be calling in.
He should.
Man.
He absolutely should.
Anyway, yeah, so Scott's on tour. We got Photoshop World next week, and I'm teaching my Lightroom class in Kansas City and St. Louis the week after, so like mid-September. You can find it over on kelbytraining.com. You're looking at it right on the screen. So September 11th and 12th. And then RC will be, are you in Arlington September 14th?
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I've never been to Arlington, so I'm like, I think this is going to be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to like it. But
Good
hey,
crowd.
Whoa. Let's back up here for a second. Back up for a second. Go back over, because in just a couple of days, guys, if you haven't thought about it, if you're on the fence, Photoshop World is happening. Make sure you take a look at photoshopworld.com. That is the conference. If you do graphic design, if you do photography, if you are interested in photographic lighting, if you want to hang out with some of the world's best photographers, guys, you want to come here. Yes, this is the conference for you. So this is the place where you want to take a look at it. Matt's teaching, I'm teaching. I'm going to try to see if I can actually go to Vincent Laforet's class. Vincent Laforet has a Canon HDSLR video class.
You know which one I'm going to go to? Can you go back, Jen?
Oh.
I just saw this the other day.
You're not going to Laforet's class?
Go to schedule, all the way at the top. Go to schedule, go scroll down. Pre-conference workshops. I'm going to go to keep scrolling down, keep scrolling. It's something, Mastering the Night. That's the one I'm going to. Scott Martin and Russell Brown.
Oh.
So Russell has, Russell is the evangelist at Adobe, but he has sent over Scott Martin's work, and I've seen his work, great work. And so they have a whole pre-conference workshop, if you don't know. Pre-con, but Mastering the Night, and some great night photography stuff. So we won't get to shoot, obviously, because it's from 1 to 4.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to checking that out.
That's pretty cool. You know what? I was going back and forth about what I wanted to do, and I'm really into a lot of the stuff that's happening with video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Between Rich Harrington and Vincent Laforet at the conference, if you're a video guy, this is going to be a good place for you to learn from a lot of this stuff. So
I always want to do night stuff. I always see like cool night photography, and I've never. The last week I was out in Portland, and here I actually might even have the photo over here. So I did my first ever like night photo. I don't know if it's any good, but I did one. There it is. I think that's
nice.
It. Yeah, which one? This is the better one. Yeah, that one.
That's
definitely
okay.
So that was my very.
I'm like, that's definitely okay.
That was my very first one, so it was pretty cool. Because there's kind of like, that's why I'm anxious to go to this, because there is a science to how long you expose for, but focal length and all that stuff. It's really weird. Like when you start reading about it, because it's all based on your focal length. At a wide angle, you can expose for much longer than you can when you zoom in a little bit, and you don't want movement unless you want star trails, but. Anyway,
Nice.
All kinds of crazy stuff.
Sorry, Johnny Panic already said, do we get to critique Matt's photo?
No.
No, Matt will not handle that very well at all. No way.
No,
But
it's wonderful, and everyone likes it now.
that's right.
So,
Put that thing up on Flickr.
I do. If I did anything, I'd go in and clone out some of the planes in there. But we can just call them meteors, too.
That's right. It's it's a shooting star.
It was.
Did you make a wish? You should put this on Google Plus and title it "Did You Make a Wish?"
Right there. There's a shooting star. A shooting star in the form of a plane. Did you make a wish? I should, dude. That'd be good to get like 100 comments right away.
Nice.
All right. We have Nancy. Nancy, you have an odd look on your face, so we'll introduce you right now.
Perfect. Hi, guys.
You're looking
Hi,
at your
everyone.
computer like it just spoke to you.
I'm receiving signals from the mothership. No, I was just messing with the live blog, and everything's working. So.
Is it? How's it going over there in France?
It's
French?
very French.
Is it? The French fries good today?
French fries.
The creeps?
Pommes frites.
When I was a kid, I still remember seeing the word crepe, and I still remember it saying, "What are these creeps?"
Nice.
Anyway, all right. So we have we called it a smorgasbord of topics today.
Right.
Let's jump in. One of the first ones. You and I were talking about this before the show. Telephone call.
That's the reminder of what the 4 topics are.
D800.
Yes.
So you've been using it a lot lately.
Yes.
I've been using yours lately.
Yes.
I stole RC's on the way out to Portland last week, so I commandeered his D800 for the week. I'm loving it. Here's
Me too.
Here's what I had told some people at my seminar last week in Seattle was, it will make you want to print big, because and every time I'm on the show with RC. I'm eating my words because it happens often lately. I remember when the D800 came out and everybody was saying, "Are you going to get a D800?" I'm like, "What do you want to print that? What do you want anything that big for? If you're not gonna show it off big, then why bother with 36 megapixels?" It makes you want to show it off big. It makes you want to print everything this big now, because you have that detail and it just looks so good that you just want to see it as big as you can on the wall. So I'm digging it. I posted about it on my blog last week, and somebody actually said, do you have any comments on the autofocus issues? I never had any autofocus issues, so I didn't have any comments. I didn't even really know about it until they mentioned it, and then I Googled it, and I started to see some people had some problems, but
But it was off and on and off and on.
I can't tell how prevalent it is.
And that's one of the
So-
things that it's a little bit random. And it's going to sound a little bit like a plug. And guys, to be honest with you, we kind of do mean it as a plug, right? It's the free show. Hello, you have to plug something. But what happens is this. We tend to forget about the fact that these things are instruments, right? They have moving parts. They have specific things that happen with them. And as you take a camera, which has certain permutations of things that can go wrong, and then you take a lens that has certain permutations of things that can go wrong, things can degrade over time, blah, 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 blah. These two, marrying different cameras and different lenses together, will have various problems in autofocus, right? Yep. So what's going to happen is you may, at times, find yourself in a position where your camera is not focusing the way that you want it to, right? You didn't have a problem with it. I've used the D800 where there was a problem with it. But the thing that kind of, and I don't know, and I don't want to speak to every problem because I'm not representative of Nikon. I don't know necessarily whether or not it is or it isn't. But one of the things that I do know is that if you take a look at this, anybody who's been doing serious shooting has gone out and said, you know what, there are focus adjustments that you can do to fix this problem. Right? And it's something that you should commonly do. If you don't do this, it's something that you should do all the time. Your camera, inside of your camera, you have a section that has micro adjustments, right? So if you look at D3, D3S, D800, D4, basically what it has is it has an area that says, all right, this is what I think is in focus. However, if you happen to disagree with me or if something seems to be off, you can go ahead and override that by kind of moving it forward and backward. And this is the contraption that you can do it with, right here. Bammo. Now,
It's a spider cowl.
right? It's a lens cowl, right? So what happens is this. You take this thing It's really hard to see kind of on the thing, but there's actually lines here, right? You'd have to like really iris down in order to probably see that. But here, so those are some lines, and it looks really confusing and it looks really technical. And I think that what happens is when people see this, they kind of like,
Yeah, your eyes glaze over.
yeah, because it's not the sexiest thing to talk about, right? But basically what happens is this. If you care about your pictures and you spent $3,000, $5,000, $2,300 on a lens, get this. It's like $70. All you do is every now and again, screw this puppy on to a light stand. Aim here.
You focus
Then
there.
zoom in. Yep, focus here. Fire here. There is a number. If that 0 is not in focus, one of the numbers on this side, I'm trying to do everything in reverse, is. Depending on what number it is how much you have to adjust your microfocus, the small scale focus. I'm going to do a video on this to show people just how much, because what happens is every lens that you use will have a certain, quirk with focus.
And so here's what a lot of people don't know too is that this is something every lens manufacturer knows. There's a margin of error in every lens that gets shipped out there. So if I buy a 70-200 lens and RC buys a 70-200, we both unbox them on the same exact day, and we both put them on the same exact camera, and we both do this, there's a good chance we're both going to get different results.
Yes.
Because there's that margin of
Yes.
error. So I did this. Michael Tapes has one called Lens Align that's very similar to this. I did this, and here's what I'll tell you about it. I kind of thought that my lens might be a little soft. Like I was having it wasn't as sharp as I thought. So he did this for me right in front of me. He calibrated my lens. I don't know if you guys can zoom in at all. Can you, anybody zoom in? Probably not. Okay. There you go. So if you look, you can see the 0, that's supposed to be in focus, and you can tell if you're front focus or back focus here. I could visibly see when he did this that I had a back focus problem. I mean, visibly, I could see that the 0 wasn't in focus.
How long ago was this?
About a year ago.
Okay.
That the 0 wasn't in focus and that the 1 was in more focus than the 0. So I could visibly see it. We calibrated it. We did everything. It's not something that you're going to go back into the studio and it's magically going to make your photos better, but it's for those times where somebody's moving and you catch that critical focus point. If you were off by that much, even though it doesn't look like a lot, it makes a big difference in the final picture.
And you know what I tell people? I tell people all the time, this is all, unfortunately, part of your photography habit. If you're out there buying a bag because you think that a bag is going to take you to the next level, if you're out there buying a tripod because you think that tripod is going to take you to the next level, if you're studying technique, if you're working on this, if you're looking for the right camera strap, if you're looking for the right this, guess what? Tuning up your camera is important.
Oh, yeah.
You tune up your car, you want it to run well, tune up your camera. You want that to run well. And it's one of those things where, would you not know it, that I actually had a problem with it, and I was the one time that I actually didn't work on it. So I came back, I was talking to Brad about it, and I was like, Brad, dude, we got to make sure that we have to have a chart. We have to make sure that we take all of our lenses, all of our cameras, get in and actually tune it up. If it's worth it to you to have a good picture, it's worth it to you to actually spend a couple of minutes and use it. Guys, in the comments and watching, if you're watching on the replay, if you guys want to see a video on this, hit me up, send a comment, let us know. You can actually see us go through Canon and Nikon and all different types of lenses. We'll put it together. We'll show you exactly how to be able to use it because it's absolutely essential.
But
that said,
let's go back to the sharpness thing.
Okay, forget about it. This is the tuning. When you tune your camera and your lens, if you happen to be shooting the D800, Matt, how awesome is it?
It's freaking awesome. So I was telling RC, this is a photo I took in Seattle last week. With his D800, and I went out to shoot sunset, and I knew it was a clear night, and every time I'm in Seattle, it's never clear, so I never get to see Mount Rainier off in the distance. But just so you know that sharpness is not an issue. I was on a tripod, mirror lockup. I didn't have my cable released, so I used the self timer at 2 seconds. But take a look at the detail in this thing. So this is 50%. There we go. Now we're at 100%.
It's just, it's disgusting.
I think to somebody to say that the autofocus doesn't work on the D800, I autofocus this. I did not focus this manually.
Come on, dude. Go all the way to the top. You could see lights on in the rooms. Look, one room's got a light on, the other room's got the light off. It's like...
Yeah, it's got some detail. And this was all auto. This was autofocus. I was not manually focusing anything. Here, take a look at...
It just, it kills me to see just how much
This is the
detail.
100%, dude. Look at Mount Rainier.
That's a $3,000 camera, dude. That's one of the things that makes this look. It's a very expensive camera, obviously, for most people. I don't want people to think that it's just, you know, that's how it rolls and you guys can just go ahead and get that. Obviously, it's a $3,000 camera. But the big point behind the entire thing is the fact that the camera right before this, D700, was a third of that resolution-wise. So not that often we turn around and just go ahead and go over to Matt's pictures. Not all that often where you can turn around and say game-changing when it comes to camera. But this is it, dude.
Look at it. Here, when it comes to... There we go. All right, so that's the full photo. So let's zoom in. I mean, look at the rocks up front.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And guys, it's just, it really is a very, very game-changing camera. Would you have to probably... That said, I would probably tune the snot out of it. Like, if I'm going to go and spend the money on that, I want to make sure that this thing is rock solid. So I'm very happy about that. So I'm glad people are saying
people
that
want
they
a video on lens calibration.
Happy
we can
to.
do that. Doug Evans, Matt RC, only one body. What would you choose, D4 or D800?
A D800. If I needed to buy a new one. That said, true confession, I own a D3S already. Yeah. So, you know, when I was talking to somebody about it, somebody that I trust on that, they said, listen, if you have a D3S, my D3S shoots in the dark. That camera, like 6400 ISO, you can go out and shoot. I know the camera like the back of my hand. I can change everything on it. It's great. On the D4, the stuff that they've added, while I would love it, the stuff that they've added aren't necessarily big quantum jumps for you to be able to do illuminate controls, 1080p. That's all. It's okay. But
so here's what I would tell people is, you know, it's like what, you know, which lens to get. It depends on what you're going to shoot too. If you're a wedding, if you're an event, I'd say you probably go with the D4. You know, you're going to get so much more from the low light capabilities of the ISO and the sports and things like that over the frames per second. Landscape, if you're doing studio work, if you know you're going to be, if it's not a run and gun situation, then I go with the D800. Landscape, outdoor, nature.
You need to take your time with the
studio
D800.
work. Yeah, you need to take your time. It's, you know, back to solid camera holding technique. I mean, it all matters when you have a file size like that. So
that said, if I didn't have a D3S, I probably would try to go for the D4, only because I would want that fast kind of run and gun. But I'm still the guy that's going to try to sell his D3S and go to the D4.
Have you seen anything rumored on the Nikon D600? If so, thoughts?
I see tons of rumors.
Oh yeah, we've seen stuff rumored. We actually have an inside track at Nikon. So here's the truth. On October 15th, they're going to announce it's actually going to be a whole new line of lenses. There's going to be a D600. There's actually going to be a D4. RC's like, what? I have no idea.
I'm like, what?
I have no idea. It's
guys.
Anything is just rumors at this point.
And
so.
more often than not, guys, I would just say this, just on a quick aside, guys. If you're going to ask us about something that's going to be rumored, more often than not, even if we knew, we couldn't say. Like, could you imagine what the next episode would be like? Yeah, Scott and Matt and RC just outed the whole Nikon line, and now you can go find them at Wendy's.
Yep.
It's like, no.
That's what it'll be.
But other than that, no, we don't know.
Hey, let's take a very quick break. We'll come back. We got iPhonography, fad, fun, art, black and white, Instagram effects, retro effects, overdone. And a whole bunch of other stuff. We'll see you guys back.
Went there.
I can't wait to do this again.
Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à Paris. Poulet, pommes frites et jambon. La donne, la tête, la pillée. Je suis fatigué. Voulez manger la fromage. La voiture, elle pour rapide, cloque monsieur. Monsieur Beaujolais avec fâche. Je suis fatigué. Vraiment, j'ai la fromage. La voiture est pour la rapide, cloque monsieur. L'addition, s'il vous plaît. Au revoir. La fromage.
Well, hey, we are back with the Grid Live. Mac Laskowski here with RC Concepcion.
What's up?
And we're talking about all kinds of, we called it a smorgasbord.
Yeah, just
of
random
topics.
things. I just think it's cool.
So two comments I got to read here. So one of them, in response to your comment about if we talked about rumors and all that stuff, RC said we'd be in Wendy's next week, and somebody wrote in and said yeah, but the quality of Wendy's photography will go up a huge notch.
People would love to be going to Wendy's. They turn into Ruby Tuesdays in no time.
Let's see. Muggle said dum more Nikon fan chat. Oi. You know, dude, here's the deal. I do like and admire Nikon. Just not going to drop all my Canon gear because Kelby folks talk about it. We're not asking you to drop all your Canon gear. Do you think Canon's not going to come out with a 36 megapixel or a contender
Ivan,
one day?
This is what I would say to you.
That's the point.
Ivan, as soon as your camera company produces a camera that doesn't suck, we'll talk about it. I'm totally kidding, but like, what are you?
Well,
Nancy's over there going like this. Whoa, back that up.
A few people said that.
I'm gonna
Nikon.
watch the viewer count just go. Brrrr.
You could take 3 5D Mark IIIs and put them together and kind of get close.
Yeah.
No? But like, no. Actually, I'm as Canon pulls their book down. No, but you know what? I'm a big fan of the Canon 5D Mark III. I think they got great cameras. I think that Nikons have great cameras.
Who cares?
Sometimes what happens is, like, we talk about a camera that's really, really cool, and you get, like, the Ivans of the world that show up and go, hey, well, you know, that's just a bunch of fan. It's a 36 megapixel camera at $3,000. Of course we're supposed to be excited about it.
It's industry news. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's Canon. Other people will come out with 30 plus megapixel cameras. That, I mean, it's the whole the topic of it, regardless of camera manufacturer. Oh snap! Somebody says here. All right, so let's see. iPhonography, fad, fun, or art? I want to know what you guys think. So you got to write in iPhonography. So, and when I say iPhonography, I mean, well, pictures with your iPhone. It's you see, everyone seems to be trying to capitalize on something with it. You see classes on iPhonography. So before, you know, as you guys are writing in your comments, my thoughts are, I totally 100% believe. In fact, there's somebody that sent me, and we had these. I had a discussion with this gentleman back and forth about iPhones, and he was trying to convince me of the need for iPhone training, and I was like, what's there to train somebody on? God, my phone is really fingerprinting. What's there to train somebody on? You point it and you press that little button at the bottom. I don't think, it's not a really hard camera to use. So we used to go back and forth, and so he kept sending me article after article of someone saying the iPhone to change photography. The school over in England adopted an iPhonography course, you know? And my point to him was not that, I don't think that this doesn't change photography. This is my only point and shoot camera, and I think it's becoming many people's only point and shoot camera. Mm-hmm. I argue the need for training on it.
Yeah.
I don't think did you need training? Well, you might have needed training on your cool pics, but did you need training on all of your point and shoot cameras? People didn't flock out. What are you doing? Dude, I don't look good.
We're done here. There we go.
So That was my only argument to him. And what was funny is he sent me this thing, school adopts iPhonography course. So, dude, I went and I found the most obscure course out of college that I could find. It was like, oh God, I can't even remember. You pick obscure courses, and it was this.
Creating Shakespearean dioramas.
Yes. and it was that obscure. And I said to back, I said, yeah, there's a college course. It looks like there's a college course on this, and well, I'm sure it's rocking it. So anyway, let's see what the thoughts are here.
But the problem with most of that stuff is that a lot of the times, the iPhone courses, what do they turn into? They turn into glorified, these are the apps that I use.
Yeah. It really becomes an article, my top 10 favorite apps for the iPhone. My top 10 favorite photography apps for the iPhone.
Okay.
But I don't need...
And we're done.
Yeah, because they're not hard to use. Do you open up Snapseed and what the hell do I do with this thing?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you kind of figure it out. Let's see here. What are some people saying? My internet is so slow today. No one except Calibra Kelby may have iPhone as a camera. Well, Calibra has, she's like become one with the iPhone.
Ooh, can I just point out something real quick here?
You can.
Somebody says something, and SWE photographer, thank you very much. Why do always people protest against things that get talked about? No one is saying that you're stupid because you use a special brand. Use a brand that feels good to you. If you like Canon, use Canon. If you like the iPhone, use it. If you don't, use the brand that you like. That's kind of how I feel. I'm like, dude, I have a Sony on my desk. I have the Alpha 77 on my desk that I've been putting through the paces, and I'm like, this camera's cool. This camera's fast. It shoots 1080p. I don't know if I like the EVF on it just yet. That's kind of taking me a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's neat. It's a cool camera. That's not bad. Take a look at this. F-Stoppers, over on the F-Stoppers website. If you go to fstoppers.com, they have this thing where Canon adds 2 new cameras to the cinema system, the EOS C500 and the EOS C100. This they've actually got right now. I think this is really, really cool because now you have a sensor, you have a lens, but it's actually sitting on a camera body. Mm-hmm. Eric, our video producer, this thing showed me this a couple of days ago, and he was salivating. He's like, they finally are starting to get that into more of a video camera person mold.
Yeah, because I don't think they're trying to put video into a camera that wasn't meant for video. In some ways, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like because now you have to have 35 contraptions onto your camera to make it like a video camera does. So.
Just run around looking like RoboCop. It's like, but now it's on a regular camera. Those cameras are cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
Let's see. Somebody said if I were doing an iPhonography photography course, I suspect that 90% of it would be about photography, composition, etc.
Yeah. F-Ship says you still need to learn how to compose, use leading lines, etc. You're absolutely right, F-Ship.
Yeah.
That's called a photography class. That's not an iPhonography class.
Yeah,
it's no different.
I don't think somebody needs to show how to use this. It's not a really complicated camera, and the apps that go along with it aren't really complicated. So, I don't know. Just my take. All right, let's see here. What was on our smorgasbord?
What do you think about the new Galaxy camera that has a built-in phone? Kind of like pushing the point and shooting in a different direction. While most cell phones have a camera tacked on, this is a phone tacked on. To be honest with you, I think that the iPhone is a lot like that. Androids are actually like that. Like, these things have long already become little computers that happen to have phones in them. You know, every now and then, I use this thing more for my email, for my Twitter, for my Facebook, for my Google+, and occasionally I call my wife with it. You know, but
yeah.
Other than that, that's what these are. So I happen to think that they're actually going in the right direction with most of that stuff. The Galaxy camera's the same thing. If I'm not mistaken, I think a Nikon just came out that's running Android. If you look at the back of it, it's an Android camera. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. So I think that they're all going towards that, but I think that the mechanics are still generally the same. It's just sensor. It's a point and shoot.
Yeah.
It's a high-end point and shoot. And there's really not that much to it other than, you know, kind of apps and processing and things like that, and then you're pretty much done. So that's not too bad. Let's see. What do you want? Okay, so, but does it have a phone, or is it just the Android OS? It actually just has the Android OS, if I'm not mistaken. But that said, you could put, you know, Google Voice on it, and if you're on a wireless connection, bam!
If it's got the Android OS, just go right on Play Store, put Skype on it. You're done.
The need... she gened it out. She's like this. Whoosh, done. Thank you, Google Play Store. But the need for an actual phone, I think, is beginning to diminish. I think that if there's anything... If you want to like have like a big visionary Trey Ratcliffe kind of moment. You can
Are
turn
you
around
gonna
and
start
say,
talking about mirrorless? And
no, I'm not going to talk about mirrorless. I'm just going to turn around and I'm going to say, what we need. I would say, if there's something that I think will go away, is using phones. As you start, as
telepathy and
no, you'll start using things like Skype, Google Voice, and all that stuff. You won't have cellular plans like all of those digital plans and things like that. It'll just be all internet plans. That's where I think we're going to go.
they're gonna have to figure out. They're gonna figure out a way to make money from that, though.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where they're going. Oh, people are still asking about mirrorless and micro four thirds. So
It's not people. It's still the same guy.
oh, okay.
He's just asking like 75 times.
Got it. Okay, so what do you want to know about mirrorless and micro four thirds? Mirrorless cameras that don't have mirrors that go like this. Okay. If the DSLR is here and your iPhone is here, the best person who's had the best argument about this is Scott Kelby. Scott Kelby's like, I carry this camera with me all the time, and I take great pictures. When I don't want to carry this camera, I take this one. Mm-hmm. He's like, why would I want to put a camera right here in the middle, in the third? It's not quite this one, but it's not quite this one. And I was, and you know what? Like, I was the guy, like, I'm a huge fan of the Leica M9. I love the Leica M9. I love the X Pro 1. It's got some quirks. I'm just going to say that. It's got some quirks. But I was like, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, this is wonderful, this is wonderful, this is wonderful. And then I showed Scott, and Scott's like, he came up with that analogy, and I'm like this. Oh, shoot, you're right. And then after that, I was just like, I'm done. Because every time that I carry this around, while I love, this is the one that I use for like spontaneous posting. There isn't a time that I don't look at an awesome picture here that I don't go, man, I wish I had shot that with my DSLR.
That's why I never got about the whole Fuji thing, is what you said. I got the phone, I got the DSLR. Like, why put a camera in between there?
Oh, Scott White, what quirks? I've been very happy with the M9.
Oh, you weren't talking about the M9.
I was talking about the X Pro 1,
Yeah.
which has a focusing. It's good. It can be a little challenging.
Yeah, you want to talk about autofocus problems? Let's forget about the D800 for a second.
However, you do need like a black belt and Jedi mind tricks to be able to get a Leica M9 to focus. But if you mess it up, that's all on you. Like, you gotta know how to range find. So that's your thing.
Yeah, and so we're talking about the X100 and everything.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying anything, dude.
You know what? No, you're never. Yeah, you're right. I'll shut up.
No. Go ahead. You can say it. Go ahead,
I was
please.
just gonna say, a year ago, I knew so many people that were using it.
Game changer.
And the people, I see a lot of those people today, and they're not using it. It was the only camera that went around with them.
Yeah, I wonder why. I don't know. I'm just saying I don't know. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. But anyway, so
Well, stop. Here, we're Leica. So
I love the M9.
Black and white. They had we were going to talk about this last time we were on the show. So Leica has a black and white only camera. How much is it?
It's more than their M9, which I think
Was
is
it 10,000?
ridiculous. It's
9,000, something like that.
But it's true black and white.
It's a lot of money, and it only shoots in black and white. What do you think about that? Let me ask you this: if you had the money, would you buy it?
No. If I had the money,
If you could only buy one Leica, if you had the money to get one Leica,
M9.
so you wouldn't buy the black and white one.
No.
What would you do if you? But you like black and white.
I'd buy the
Pepper
Leica
number
M9.
30. See, I know what pepper number 30 is now.
I would buy the Leica M9. I'd go to Nick Software and buy Silver FX Pro, and then I use the rest of the money to take a trip around the world. That's what
Are they that big of a price difference between the M9 and the black and white?
Dude, I'm buying a Leica. At that point, I could use whatever disposable money to have. I'd be running around in the helicopter.
How much does the M9 go for?
That's like $6,000.
What's the black and white one go for?
Probably $9,000.
Is it?
Yeah, but by the time you get a lens for the M9, it's like $4,000 for a lens or something like that. So
it's a little bit of money.
If there's any,
I thought that was interesting industry news was that there's an expensive black and white only camera, but they made it. Leica is. I got to imagine there's some very, very smart people that work there. People have to be buying it.
You know what? It's one of those things where there's a market for everything. They wouldn't do it for nothing. There's a market for everything.
Okay, so black and white. So
Brings us to the next topic.
Black and white, Instagram effects, the whole retro. I think we can take black and white out of. I don't want to lump black and white into Instagram effects. So let's talk about Instagram effects.
What about them?
Overdone?
I think that they're on their way out, actually.
Yeah.
If you're beginning to notice like more and more and more, you don't hear people. I could be wrong.
You're never
but
wrong.
I don't hear a lot of people talking about Instagram like they did, let's say, 6 months ago, 9 months ago. I feel like whenever I would jump on the internet, it was always like, oh, Instagram this and Instagram that and Instagram this and Instagram that. And now it's kind of like,
And I'm talking about Instagram the effect more than I'm talking about Instagram the photo sharing app, because I think the photo sharing aspect is growing. Probably.
What do you think of Instagram just in general? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments whether or not you use Instagram or not, whether you like it.
I don't really use it. I always feel like I should use it, but I don't really use it. But I know a lot of people, like I always see people posting photos too, and I figure, if you want to share your photos, that's a good way to do it. I haven't worked it into my day to where I'm able to use it. But
I'd sooner stab myself in the head with a pen in the eye.
I tell you what, every
use Instagram.
teenager in the world is using it. My 9-year-old kid. So this is where it's come to. My 9-year-old kid has an iPad. Which, why does my 9-year-old kid have an iPad?
Because you're rolling like that.
No. His grandmother got him a used one. But anyway, my 9-year-old son has an iPad. And I always get on his iPad and I make sure he's not doing anything he shouldn't do on it. He just plays games. I get on his iPad a couple weeks ago. He's got Instagram on it. And I go and I look who he's friends with. He's friends with all the other kids in the neighborhood. And you got to see the crap they're posting on Instagram. So much so that I actually had to go to one of my neighbors, one of the guys, one of her
Don't. I know the rest of the story.
I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but so much so that I was like, dude, you should go look at this. Do you know what Instagram is? And he said no. I said, do you know your kid has Instagram? He said no. I said, you need to go look at this. But every kid is on it. Every teenager's on it. So does that mean it's going out on its way out, or does that mean like it's just going up in market share?
I don't know. I think it's going out. I think Instagram is the most annoying thing on earth. Like
I hate the effect.
I just hate everything about it. I'm like, I absolutely hate everything about it. And maybe it's just me as kind of like a right. Like I like.
There's a
pictures.
poll up.
I like playing. How do you? Oh wow, poll. How do you feel about Instagram? There we go. I think it's interesting. And you know what that means.
When RC says interesting, that's RC speak for wrong.
But what happens is this: we give up so much of our rights as artists already, and we give up so much. Here's a perfect example: Google Plus. Right. This is what happened. I haven't posted on my blog. My blog's over at aboutrc.com. Right. If I go to my blog today. And this is like educational content stuff. So I kind of wanted to just talk to you guys about this. I love social media. I love talking about it. I love playing with it. I love that you guys interact with us with it. I think it's a great thing. But here's this. Look, here's my website. I hadn't written on my website for a while. And I was like, I felt bad. I wrote this book on getting your photography on the web, and I hadn't talked about anything. And I turned around and I said, oh, you know what? I'm going to write this article. Think Tank versus Think Tank Airport V2 to a shapeshifter. What's in my bag? And all I did was I wanted to just put text and images. And because my Google Plus didn't allow me to do this, I went in and if you look at, let's see, I'm going to go to gplusrc.com. There's my post. And inside of here, they didn't allow me to link the article, right? So I said, hey, guess what? I made a post. And I said, hey, guys, I have a blog. Rather than reading a whole bunch of stuff that with pictures, with no pictures, go to the blog and take a look at it over there. Mm-hmm. Guess what? A lot of people went over to the blog. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, well, how does this apply to pictures? Imagine if you're awesome at taking pictures with your iPhone. And you're taking pictures and you're taking pictures and you're taking pictures. Wouldn't you want to put those things on your website? Put those things on your website. Look, on your website, you could sell ad traffic if you want to sell it. You could sell affiliate links on the right-hand side. I'm not talking about deceiving people or cutting people or doing any of that stuff. If you look right
I
here,
will cut you.
look on the right-hand side.
Hey, by the way, somebody commented in here and said, Matt, I hate to break it to you. There are a lot of bad photos on Instagram.
Okay.
Did I say that all photos on I think most of the photos on Instagram are pretty bad. But,
Yeah, but here,
anyway.
look. Take a look
Sorry.
at this. So here on my blog, right? The right-hand side of the blog talks about my books. There's my books. Talks about the shows I do. There's some banners. This is an affiliate link. This is an affiliate link. These are affiliate. It doesn't get in the way of the content that I'm working on. So, and people respect it. I think that at the end of the day, people know that you have to pay the bills somehow. You have to do something. And what happens is when you put stuff on social media like Google Plus and Instagram and all these other places, you're taking your brand, what you love to do, and just putting it somewhere else. Instead, I think people need to use social media, go on Google Plus, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on all that kind of stuff to bring people back to your website.
Yeah.
Getting people back to your website should be the number one thing that you should be concerned about.
That's what you talked about in your book.
Right.
And so I read an article. I wish I could remember the source, but I read an article that summed it up really well recently. And it ties into that. And I think we can actually, there's some legs to this discussion, so we should talk about it. The article said, the title was, Why Still Have a Blog? And the article said, you still need a blog because that's your home presence. That's the entity on the web that you own. And you need that. Facebook, Google Plus, Twitter, all these places feed into that place, but that's the one place that you own. So take I don't want like let's say Twitter, like let's say somebody who built their name on Twitter, 4 or 5 years ago. Twitter gets used differently now. So if you only had a name on Twitter and you didn't have a good website presence, what happens because we all know the industry starts moving away from something. 5 years ago, everybody used Facebook. Now, a lot of photographers seem to be going over to Google+. So what happens next? People start, you're transient into all these different places. If you don't have that one home base, then you're missing something. And you talked about it in your book, and I always cite that to people when people talk about this topic, is that all these places are to feed that one home base.
And I'll leave you with this one break before we go to break, because we have to go to a break. Again, I would not want you guys to walk away from this and think to yourself, oh, well, RC's saying that if you set up a blog and you put some advertising, you too can give up your job and go do this. Guys, I'm not talking about the fact that all of this stuff will make you a ton of money.
Forget about affiliate links.
Forget about affiliate links.
I'm just talking about a page that's your own.
Right. I'm just saying at the end of the day, and I do talk about money to some degree, because I do say that at the end of the day, guess what? Photography, you love it, but it's not cheap. It's a beautiful passion, and I'm very grateful to have it, but it is not a cheap passion. I'm going to try whatever it is that I can on my home to get people to help me support that habit. At the very least, buy the next lens. At the very least, pay for the domain name. At the very least, share a little bit of my brand. I'm not telling you that you're going to get rich at it, but I'm telling you that if you use your site to be the home base to bring people back, you can actually do something with it. What you do with it is entirely up to you. And I have a blog post here on this real quick. So if you go to my website, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it over here somewhere, but I wrote that. I wrote 3 reasons for a website, or your email or your AOL email address looks dumb. I tell people, don't make your presence Google+. Don't make your presence Facebook, because guess what? People did that a long time ago, and they're like, well, Google Plus is going to be here forever. Facebook is. I got into conversation with people who were like, Facebook is here to stay, baby. Come on, you didn't see what happens? That thing is trading at 1/3 of what it traded before, and everybody's like, oh, dude, is Facebook over? Just like just like MySpace, just like GeoCities, just like all of these other places. Things will come and go. Yeah. Why don't you just set up your own website? I'm like, dude, keep your own spot.
Right now, use all those things as they come into favor. Use those things to feed into that website.
Right. If you look at somebody and somebody goes, hey, email me at so-and-so@AOL.com. You look at them like, do they still make you? It's like earthlink.net. It's like, really?
Mindspring.
It's like, dude, just make your own home. It's actually pretty cheap.
What was the
Juno.
other one? not Juno. AOL. It was right
Net
around the
Zero?
AOL time. Not.
Net Zero, Juno,
It was a competitor AOL.
CompuServe.
CompuServe was another one.
But anyway.
And you know, I took the article to heart. I very deliberately, I've always had MattKliskowski.com, and then I got a hold of MattK.com, which makes it much easier for me to just tell people where to go because nobody could spell my last name, and I only had my portfolio there, and I put a blog there recently. I mean, just a couple months ago. But I did it knowing that the day of blog explosions is over. Mm-hmm. I've been blogging on Lightroom Killer Tips for 5 or 6 years, but MattK.com is last to the blogging party. Mm-hmm. And I didn't do it thinking like, hey, I got this new thing, I'm blogging, But it was to have that home base, to have everything funneled back to. So whether it's Google+, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, I know that I can always write and format and do whatever I want on my webpage, and then I can use those other areas to kind of share with people. And if they want to learn more about me, then they can come to the blog and read more.
So long as people continue to keep looking at blog as like journals, they're never going to get over that hump. I always tell people it's serialized content. Serialized content. It's content over and over and over again.
Yeah.
If you want somebody to come back to you, you got to tell them more than one thing. Let's take a quick break.
Can I do one more thing?
Go ahead.
So Logan Miller had said, I feed G+ into my blog. And I don't know if I like that. Here, let's take a break and we'll get your thoughts. So anybody that does that, we'll get your thoughts when we come back.
I'm Eric Valland, a lifestyle portrait photographer. Photography, for me, I'm a people photographer, so I love working with the people and working in beautiful locations together. You're shooting lifestyle photography and you're looking through your camera lens and you're getting those frames, and all of a sudden the moment happens, you know it instantly. The great thing about lifestyle photography is I try to capture real moments with it, so I set the stage to let those moments happen, and as they unfold, I'm just there lucky enough to be the one pulling the trigger and getting it on film. For my upcoming class, Outdoor Lifestyle Photography, the key to capturing that moment in that location is finding what's unique about that location, what really stands out to you right away, and then compressing it. In this class, I'm going to teach you how to select those locations, how to light them for control and contrast. Everybody loves the lighting techniques, but in the end, it's all just to set the stage so that moment can happen, and we walk away with an image that goes ahead and showcases the beautiful spot we were at and captures the moment as it happened in it. Please join us for the rest of the class. You're really going to love some of the techniques I've got to share.
Hi, my name's Joe McNally for Kelby Training. I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia. In this class, we capture dancers in the air at the peak of their flight. We ask them to create their most important, their most powerful move, and I'm going to show you how to get that move and photograph it with big flash, small flash, from the simple to the complex. Here, I can show you right here. Here's Gilbert. He's an amazing dancer. He just did this fantastic leap, but he's not the best dancer we worked with. Here's the best dancer we worked with. Come check out my class, Dancers in Flight, Beautiful Light, at kelbytraining.com.
That's good, dude.
We are back live on the grid with about 7 minutes to go. So we left you with using, because you can have your blog pull straight from your Google Plus posts.
Right.
So I don't know. When I go to somebody's blog, I kind of go. I don't know. I always kind of go to get whatever they're saying there, and when you see the plus this and the plus, I don't know. It always seems a little bit disconnected to me. to have Google Plus post to somebody's blog.
Yeah.
You do it though, don't you?
No, you know what I do is I do it backwards. What I do is I make content on my blog. So let's say like I wrote about this entire process. And then what I do is I use my Google Plus, I use my social media channels to tell people about what I wrote. So let's just say that I'm talking to you about, okay, here, let's just get two things at once because I wanted to show you guys this because I thought it was really awesome. All right, this is a stand that I just got from Element Case. They have these new jewel stands.
Do you have stock in Element Case?
You would think, right? Dude, these
No,
guys
they
just
make cool
rock.
stuff.
They just make neat things, right? Well, actually, we're giving away some stuff from Element Case in a second. So they came out with this new thing, and let's just say that I want to write about it, right? So I'd write about it. I'd write about all of the things, the reviews and blah, 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 blah. I would go on Google Plus and I would turn around and I would go, hey guys, I thought this was interesting and this is why I thought it was interesting. I give the 3,000-foot view or what I'm interested about. And I go, if you guys are really interested, I'd like for you guys to check it out. So it's not a one-for-one because people will sniff out one-for-one stuff and then all of a sudden they're like, this guy.
I'm just going to go follow him in one place.
Yep.
But no, I do the same thing. I give a brief synopsis over on Facebook and Google+. Twitter, you can't do anything in 140 characters. So Twitter is, I put up a new blog post today. Here's a link. But on Facebook and Google+, I give something very brief that if you want to see the photo and if you want just a quick hint of the story, take a look more on my blog. And then if you want to go read the blog and you want to see the before photo or some of the setup shots or whatever it happens to be in a way that I can format it and present it in the way that I want to, then I send you over to the blog and you can read the rest of the story there.
Right.
So that and somebody kind of asked that. So we're answering a question too. Somebody asked with all the social media options of Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, Instagram, how do you choose where to spend your time? RC and I both agree. That's how we spend our time with it.
All right. Set up at the blog, pull everybody back in.
Comment. Somebody said I only get 10 visits a day to my blog and it's all spammers.
That, my
Write better content.
Yep. At the end of the day, I'm not going to say who it was, but at the end of the day, what you need to do, and this is one of those things that a lot of people don't talk about, you need to make sure that the content that you're writing is very compelling, and then you need to go tell people about it. You should not feel unabashed about going to somebody and going, hey, Corey Barker, I just wrote this really, really cool thing about a use of this. Once you do that, if your content's good enough, you'd be surprised. Corey Barker will probably turn around and go, wow, that was pretty cool. And somebody will turn around and share it out. A lot of people believe that if you just write it, it's like if you build it, they will come. It's like you build it and then you just wait. Here comes the traffic or here comes the, the thing. You have to build it and then you have to go tell people about it. And the more somebody
and you have to have good stuff on it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the big, if you have good content, that gets you past a huge hurdle right there because somebody will find it.
Yep.
And once that somebody finds it, then they share it with somebody and you can share it with your friends. But that's the number one key is, I think, to have good, consistent content.
Here's the thing, and Scott Wyden, you just hit it on the head. Content is key. Content is king, is probably what you meant. Context is queen. Promotion is aces. Here's the thing. Nicholas Bolvin on Google Plus wrote this thing, and he wrote this article about, sometimes it's about PR. And in the post that he was writing, he had a really cool story. And in the middle of all of that, he linked me. So obviously, I'm going to get a message about it. I get a message about it, and I read it, and I go, that's pretty cool. That's a really good story. Dude, that's a great way for you to do that. So I turn around and I share it. I'm not saying that my sharing it matters, but like I'm happy to be able to share something that I thought that was interesting. And if you do that with enough people, that's how you start getting those words out. But you have to be out there. You have to be running it. You have to be playing with this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, consistency is probably the number one thing to learn from all of it. Just have good, consistent content. Let's see here. I think we're about wrapping up. Let's talk about some prizes.
Okay.
We're giving away one of the lens calibration from
you know
Spider.
what? We're talking to you guys about it. If you guys want one, we're going to get and give you. Here's the thing, though. We're going to give all of this stuff away to one person.
One person.
You like that?
I like it.
One person.
Nikon D800 from snapshots to great shots from our buddy Jeff Ravel. Hi, Jeff. And Colby Brown's Google Plus for photographers. Jeff will be. Is Jeff going to be at Photoshop World? He better be at Photoshop.
I hope he's at
Colby
Photoshop
Brown's going to be at Photoshop World too. So Looking forward to catching up with him. On one, Perfect Photo Suite 6. And an Element case. This is a wooden iPad case.
Isn't that cool?
Wood.
If you have an iPad or an iPad, if you have an iPad 2 or an
2 or
iPad 3, and you want the feel of wood,
It is along to go with our topic is a smorgasbord of prizes.
you know what? If you guys followed us in all of those directions, you can get all of those prizes.
Nancy, how the heck do they win any of this stuff?
Okay, we're doing everything differently today. So do not type your email into the live blog. Don't do it. We're doing things a little bit differently because it's such a big prize pack. So we are going to go back to the comment section starting tomorrow when the replay pops up. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go to episode number 67 of The Grid, which is today's episode, and you're going to scroll down to the comments and leave a comment about the show, you know, give us what your favorite part was, talk about, sorry, people are entering fake email addresses. Really cute, William. And yeah, but we're going to enter there. And then what we'll do is probably like about, I think, Wednesday, even though I don't think we're having a show next week, we'll go through and we'll pick a winner and we'll notify a winner from the comments.
Yeah, and you know what? And one of the reasons that we wanted to get through that is that I think it's just fair for everybody, right? When you're watching this, you could be watching this on YouTube, you could be watching this on Google Plus, you could be watching this on the Kelby TV site, you could be watching it
lots of
live.
different places.
So giving everybody a chance.
But the comment, I mean, is at kelbytv.com/thegrid, not comments on YouTube, not comments on Facebook, not comments on Google
kelbytv.com/thegrid.
That's where you want to go.
It's easy. Leave a comment there.
kelbytv.com/thegrid.
All right.
So, and that gives them a chance for all of
Brad
us.
had a good point.
Yeah, how do you present your content is paramount as well. I did a lighting tutorial on Scott's blog a couple months ago. And
This is, by the way, this is Brad Morse.
This is Brad
Scott's
Moore.
Digital.
Right?
Okay.
And he asked Matt to take a look at it before I posted it. He pointed out that what I was saying was good, but how I was saying it was a bit jumbled. I reworked it, and I got a much better response than it probably would have otherwise. Absolutely, and that's one of those things. It's like you got to reach out. You got to connect to these people. You can't just produce good content. You have to go out and you have to tell people that you produced good content. When you combine those two, I think it's going to be something that's going to be really, really good for you.
I agree. Have we successfully covered our smorgasbord of
I think
content?
we have
We didn't talk
successfully.
too much about black and white. We were going to get into black and white. That's 2 shows we were going to get into black and white, and we haven't. But
I think it's got a black and white thing. So let me just go ahead and do this real quick, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a chance. Make sure that you take a look at our sponsors, right? On One Software right here. Without them, we wouldn't be doing most of this stuff. So ononesoftware.com, thank you so much for that. Make sure that you take a look at more information over here by spider.datacolor.com. They have a great video on how to be able to use that calibration thing as well. And
I was out visiting. So I was in Portland last week. I stopped at the guys. I stopped by On One's office because I have some friends there. All I got to say is it was cool. That's all I'm going to say. It was cool. You'll see.
okay. Now, and then I wanted to do this here. Let's just go ahead and I'm going to say Google Plus.
All right, I will talk while RC is looking for something. Thank you for watching the show today. We
Okay.
appreciate you guys watching the show today and sticking with us for an entire hour and 2 minutes. And RC appears to have found what he was
Make
looking
sure you
for. Colby
follow
Brown.
Mr. Colby Brown. Colby Brown is the man who is also going to be hanging out with us at Photoshop World.
You
I was
didn't hear me
pretty
say that
excited
before?
about that. I thought it was cool.
Deja vu.
I did.
Were you not here 10 minutes
I was
ago?
drinking. Sorry. And last
Good.
but
No, I'm looking forward. You know what? At the Google Plus conference in May, I had never met Colby before. That you know when you walk away and you think of all the people you met, Colby. He was like one of the highlights of just people that I got to sit down and talk to, and really kind of enjoyed talking to.
amazing
there. So,
speaker. He's a great speaker.
Great speaker, very charismatic guy. And every panel he was on, he said, he had the right thing to say. He knew he just made such great points in every class I watched him in.
Yep. Last but not least, if you're looking at the wood thing or you want to look at the case, because people will ask every now and again, this is the site that I keep talking about. This is the site that I was.
Dude, did I see a Black Ops 2 case?
Yeah, they have a Black Ops 2 light.
And pre-order yours today. Not the Element case.
You
but
can design your own.
Black
outlet.
Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops. Was it November?
Black Ops 2.
Black Ops 2, November 11th or something?
I think it's November 11th. I'm playing tonight. You playing tonight?
I'll try.
Okay, let's play tonight.
I haven't been on
Brad,
in weeks.
Assemble. We're playing
Assemble.
tonight.
All right, we'll play tonight. We're missing Scott. Scott's in Denver.
Nice. We're,
All right.
we're
That
gonna
means
miss
we'll
Scott.
actually win tonight. Ooh!
I'm I'm not saying anything.
I'm just teasing.
I'm not saying
All right, guys,
anything.
thanks for watching. We gotta go. We will not be here next week because we will be at Photoshop World, and no promises a week after because we'll probably be hungover from Vegas. But no, I know I won't be here the next week because I'm in Kansas City and St. Louis. But maybe somebody will. We'll see.
Nice.
Take care.
One can hope.
The screen went black. I'm not sure if we're really off, but take care, everybody. We'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.
This week's episode of The Grid is sponsored by MPix. Shoot today, upload tonight, we ship tomorrow. Manfrotto. Imagine more. On One Software, software that gets you back to shooting. Adorama. More than a camera store. Tiffin. Helping create the world's greatest images. Peach Pit Press. Publishers of technology books, ebooks, and videos for creative people. Epson. Exceed your vision. Expo Imaging. Rogue Flash Benders for speedlight enthusiasts. Nik Software, photography first. And B&H Photo, the professional source.